from Spain. He's a PhD candidate and he's also affiliated with the UNESCO Institute of Philosophy. And his interest lies with the Roma communities and the Roma political representation. We were talking during the breaks about this topic not only in Spain but in Romania as well. Ismael was asking a lot of questions about how the Roma are represented in Romania. But the presentation today is going to be on a specific case study from Granada, as far as I understood, yes, of the political representation of Roma in this particular region of Spain. So, Ismael,
okay, thank you. And thank you everyone for attending this meeting at this time. And I also want to thank especially Andrea for the organization. I think during this day we have raised a lot of interesting points about the meaning of public sphere, public space and politics. In my case, I want to talk about a specific case study of Gitanos in Granada. As you may know, Gitanos are part of the Roma diaspora all across Europe, and in Spain we call ourselves Gitanos. As in the morning, Nicholas was saying that we want to shift the discourse from victimization to project a positive image of the three diasporas. I give the title to my presentation, Diasporas in the Public Space, from Persecution to Reconciliation. I think this is a new concept that appears in this session, the concept of reconciliation, and how can we reach the point of reconciliation through the path of recognition. And I will focus in the case of Gitanos in Granada. Just a conceptual note at the beginning, I want to say that the diasporas can be conceptualized as international networks deeply rooted locally. So in a way it is an avant-garde of what we call today globalization, how we locate or how we put in place the local in a global picture through international networks. However, throughout the history, diasporic identities has been regarded as a threat for the cohesion of nations, as an internal enemy, and also they have been racialized their own cultural differences. In this morning we were talking about the notion of ethnicity, but I think it's very much linked to the notion of race as well.
Absolutely.
And then we talk about traumatic episodes of the diasporas, but we don't want to be portrayed only through these traumatic episodes, but also our culture, our identity is alive, so it's a living experience. It's not only based on traumatic episodes. Also want to emphasize that extreme nationalist projects justify genocide throughout the history by following the credo, one nation, one culture, one race. In the case of Spain, the Gitanos in Spain, the arrival to Granada, it was in 1462. And then in 1478 already the nomadic Roma groups came under the supervision of the Spanish Inquisition. In 1499, the Inquisitor Cardinal Cisneros ordered the forced conversion to Catholicism of all Grenadians, including the Roma people. Already in 1609, the King Philip III ordered expulsion of Jews, Muslims and Gitanos from all territories of Spain. Most of the Muslims and Jews migrated to North Africa, France, the Netherlands and the Ottoman Empire. However, the Roma had no political religious alliances, therefore they had no willing hosts elsewhere. This is the reason why the Roma in Spain occupy the current territories, outskirts and in the margins of societies. Most remain in Spain as fugitives, living on charity on the edges of urban areas. I will show this how it is portrayed nowadays in the cityscape of Granada. Here we have a painting from Goldstein, and is portraying the expulsion of Gitanos from Granada. I will show a little bit the history of anti-Gitanos legislation in Spain, and I can say that from 15 16th century until the end of Franco's dictatorship, Spain has written more than 280 legal texts against the Spanish Gitanos. One of the, at the really beginning of the nation building project in Spain, Philip III, acknowledging the existence of nomadic Roma groups, decreed in 1619, under penalty of death, all Roma should leave Spanish territories within 6 months and not return. Those wishing to stay can do so if they abandon their nomadic life and move to our towns. Also, they should abandon their traditional costumes, names and language. So this process of sedentarization already started in Spain in the 17th century. I think in Romania and Central Eastern countries started in the 20th century with the established of communism. So that's why also we have a very different story. Then also in 1749, the Marquis of Ensenada, King Ferdinand VI, Interior Minister, ordered the imprisonment of all Roma living in Spain. And he said, the imprisonment must be carried out on the same day and the same time. These people called Gitanos have no religion. They must be put in prison and we will end this evil race. The prisoners were separated, all males over 7 in one group and females and children under 7 in another. The males were to be sent to forced labor in the arsenals or navy, and the females and children to prisons or national factories. This is the last anti-Gitanos legislation that I will show, but there are a lot of more, but I don't want to continue because I don't want to focus in the victimization of the Roma, but just to put an example, in 1783 the King Charles III ordered new laws to curb and punish the vagrancy of the Gitanos, known as New Castellanos. They are forbidden to use their language, costumes, or maintain their nomadic way of life, as they used to do it until now. In these 3 centuries, the Gitanos went through a complex historical process of expulsion, persecution, imprisonment, slavery, and assimilation. Victims on one extreme of physical violence and on the other extreme cultural violence. However, also the Gitanos has taken part in the national culture of Spain, especially in the late 19th century and the early 20th century. The Spanish Gitanos were recognized as part of the popular culture by many intellectuals, novelists, poets, composers, playwrights, painters, photographers. For example, if we take Manuel de Falla, the composer's El Amor Brujo, starred by Pastora Imperio, a Gitana dancer, fused the Spanish folklore with avant-garde techniques of European dance, music and fashion dress, as we can see in the next picture. El Amor Brujo was presented to the public in 1915, starred by the Gitana dancer Pastora Imperio, and fused the Spanish folklore with avant-garde techniques of European dance, music and dress, and fashion dress, sorry. And it was a huge influence for the emerging female bourgeoisie. Here we can see this is an affiche of the first festival of flamenco in 1922 that was hosted in Granada by the composer Manuel de Falla and the poet Federico García Lorca, and they take the Gitanos as the main representative of the flamenco. Now, already going to the caves of Sacromonte in Granada. This is part of the cityscape, and it was recognized as World Heritage by the UNESCO. And here we can see at the beginning of the 20th century how the Gitanos were already part of the local culture of Granada, and they called the attraction and the attention of the photographers. Now we can see here how a Gitana singer was portrayed in Alhambra, in a very famous magazine of that time, Mundo Gráfico. 1920, and also already in a postcard in 1920 as well, we can see another Gitana teenager that was portrayed. Also want to remark that in the case of the representation of Gitanos in Granada, even if you go today, there is a very significant gender component. Now I want to show you the complex of the Sacromonte caves, because as I explained at the beginning, because of the persecution, the Gitanos went to live to the outskirts in caves. But nowadays these caves are very modern. So, sorry for technical problems. So as you can see, this is today's Sacromonte caves in Spain, in Granada. So, and there we were talking this morning about culture and performance, and culture is not a product, it's a live process of exchanging between different people. And we can see how the tourists go to the caves of Sacromonte to see a live music. And here the Gitanos are really part of the local culture. I think I can say that we are regarded as part of the local culture, not like a different culture. Here we have also an amazing picture. If you go to Granada, you can see this every day in the caves. They renovate the caves and they use it as a club. Here as well. As I said, there is a gender component here because mainly women are performing, although also men are playing the guitar, singing, but those who are exposed to the public are mainly women. And here you can see in front of Alhambra, that is the main monument in Granada, you can see that are the caves, and at the end you can see the Alhambra in a representation of the show of flamenco. And finally, I want to show you an example of flamenco in the caves. I think so. So we'll try to show you. I don't know why what I'm seeing here you cannot see on the screen. So it seems internet is not working on the screen. Okay, ChatGPT will send you the presentation. Yeah, so we'll send everybody the link and the presentation, so you can see, because it's an live show of flamenco, and you can see how they interact with the public and tourists. And that's all. Sorry.
Well, thank you.
It was some technical problems that I want to show you, like the whole picture and the whole complex of caves, that it was not possible.
You just made us even more curious, so we will be looking forward to your link. And while I was listening to you, I was thinking, Katerina, you have the one with Robia and Scavia, yeah? Because I was checking which is the difference, because you asked, you said that the Roma, the Gypsies in Romania were not slaves, they were.
No, I said that they were sedentarized in the 20th century.
No, they were liberated in the mid-19th century. And rob, by the way, the difference between rob and sclav. Rob means that, okay, you belong to a noble family, but you are still considered a human being with a soul. Whereas a slave is just an object, an instrument, yeah. But how they were considering Rob as being human beings, that's another story. It's enough to have a look at the latest film award, Aferim. I don't know if you're familiar with it, which was in the Berlin, yeah. And then that's a superb depiction of how various ethnic groups were treated in Wallachia in the beginning of the 19th century. Okay, thank you so much, and looking forward for some dancing.
I promise I will send you the whole presentation so you can click and see.